Good morning, guys. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to our planet. Guys, it's Issues with Toddy One Skip, and I am Toddy One Skip, whether we're having breakfast, lunch, or dinner, tea or coffee, steak or tofu, which I don't like. I'm always hungry, always ready to eat. Grab a bagel, grab a donut. Let's do this. Guys, seriously, okay, I joke around. I don't know. But truthfully, there's a couple things I want to talk to you about. One, I think I'm doing something with, I'm collaborating with a couple other content creators. I want to say that's going to be Sunday, about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Parawoman Radio I'm doing that with, and somebody else who Parawoman Radio is hooking us up with. So, do you guys know who I'm talking about? Anyway, guys, so I'm excited about that. We're going to talk about Gypsy Rose. But here's one thing that I kind of wanted to talk about. So, you know, guys, here's something silly, but like right in our face. So, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, her defense was never Munchausen by proxy, was it? No. When her defense of unaliving her mom was that, first of all, she didn't do it. Second of all, she loved her mom, if you look in the interrogation, and she doesn't know what happened. And then it was, well, she wouldn't let her be with Nick. But then at some point, her mom threw her out and said, I don't care, go, leave. But at no time during the interrogation does Gypsy ever say, my mom made me have a bunch of surgeries. My mom told me I was sick. My mom made me be in a wheelchair. No, she didn't. She didn't. Because, see, that wasn't even a thought in Gypsy's head until after the fact. You guys, a lot of you, somebody sent me some Facebook stuff where there's a cousin Vanessa involved, and I mean, like, talking about how Gypsy was made to be held captive in her home. And we all know that's a bunch of shit, because Gypsy's done a lot in her life. She hit bucket lists up the yin-yang, right? And we didn't hit our bucket list. I saw the Northern Lights by a fluke. I shared it with you guys, remember? I put it on my community post. I mean, that's a bucket list thing. That was a big deal, right? So, I mean, that was something by God. But to be able to go and do things that Gypsy Rose did, they're bucket list things. Go to Miranda Lambert. Now, listen, I'm not a Miranda fan, but if you are, a meet and greet with Harry Potter cast, which I'm not, but if you guys are, these are bucket list events, going and seeing these things and participating and flying and being in a small jet. And these are things that the average person can't do, and only happened to Gypsy because of a scam, a grift, a con. And then it just continued on. It just continued on. But never did she ever look at the police officer and say, I had to do it because I was tied up by my mom. She didn't, because she wasn't tied up by her mom. All of this shit became a fabrication and a story to sell. And Hollywood bought it. Hollywood bought it. And it's not true. So, obviously, the act, okay, that people saw that, and I saw it, and I thought, wow, that was really horrible, And then I started seeing the stuff where Gypsy actually talks, and then I realized, yeah, she's a liar. So, but we still have people that are saying that poor Gypsy Rose, and what they need to be saying is that poor Dee Dee Blanchard, that poor Nicholas Godejohn, because, see, those are the people that we need to say got the short end of the stick, the very, very short end of the stick. Gypsy's spoiled. And look at what we've done for her. So, How do you, as you guys know, I used to work in a jail, and years ago, I mean, even before then, I worked for traffic and misdemeanor in Broward County, Florida, and during lunches, I would go and sit in trials, sit in on trials just to listen to them, because I always found them fascinating. And usually the defense was during the time of the trial, not after that a made-up story is invented for people to feel bad. It was never part of the defense. The only thing that got her off was that she rolled on Nick. So why didn't she use what she claimed was the reason for really unaliving her mom at the time when the defense was needed? We all saw the interrogation. It never came up. Now, when you have lawyers, they're there to work for you, and they will take the smallest thing and say, just like the cop did to Gypsy, trying to give her an out by saying, were you threatened? You were threatened, weren't you? And Gypsy was so that she didn't get that, because what the cop was insinuating was that Nick talked her into unaliving her mom, not the other way around. So during all that time, why didn't she say, listen, my mom was doing A, B, C, D, and E to me, and I felt like it was the only way out? Because it didn't exist. Because it didn't happen. When she was talking to that cop or flirting with that cop and talking about going to Disney and seeing Princess Diana and Titanic and all that shit, there was never, I had to do this and sit in a wheelchair because my mom. No, actually, she talked about running around Disney, which doesn't require a wheelchair, does it? Running around? No. So now you got people that are trying to put Gypsy back in jail by this petition to get her off for parole. I want to sign that. I really do. Because I don't think that she should have 1 second of free air until Nick gets a fair trial. I'm not saying Nick needs to be out on the street. He doesn't. But he doesn't deserve to be where he's at. He does need a fair trial. And perhaps he can go to a place where he can live a little bit of a life instead of sitting behind bars. There are facilities for him. And he was loyal to her. And she's never been loyal to anybody. She could learn something. She's never been loyal to anybody. You can't trust her with anything. So I don't understand why people are giving her their heart. The woman that she said that she loved the most was her mom. Look at what she did with her. So if you guys want to go ahead and do that, that's fine. But I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So understand this, please, guys. Munchausen by proxy. That self-diagnosis, can it be a self-diagnosis? Munchausen by proxy? I wonder, that's weird, right? Munchausen by proxy. Can it be a self-diagnosis? Whatever. The Munchausen by proxy that Christy came up with for Gypsy happened after. It was never a defense for the crime. It was supposed to do exactly what it did, to buy a bunch of sympathy where it shouldn't have been, and we all bought into it. But now, once the people could see that she's so full of shit and who she is, take your sympathy back, sign the petition, take her parole away. I'm all for that. Guys, what do you think? Have you thought about that? Munchausen by proxy only after the fact? If that was the truth, that would be the first thing out of my mouth. I had to. My mom kept me in a wheelchair. I had to. My mom locked me up. I had to. My mom threatened me. I had to. I was so scared of her. None of that. None of that. Listen to the interrogation. Tell me where you hear that. All right, guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I will let you know on my community page when we're going to do that live. But in the meantime, don't forget, Friday, May 24th, that's tomorrow, guys. At 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be 61, and I will be there. And I thank you guys so much. Please like, subscribe, and share. Only half of you are subscribed. We don't bite. Some of us do. But I think you'll have to ask them first. All right, guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. Be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Never, ever be Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Always be yourself and always be kind. Thank you, guys.